Early phases, there's going to be lumpiness and bumpiness in the distribution, and today it may be that some GPs aren't getting the consignments that they expected.
And that's all done.
GP hubs like this one in Surrey are working at full tilt to identify and vaccinate their patients. Hundreds are being administered, but the last batch of the Pfizer vaccines is about to run out. Dr. Richard Van Mallarts says his team is ready to jab thousands of patients, but he's not been given enough of the vaccine despite the promises.
We had been expecting a delivery of 2 batches next week of the Pfizer vaccine. So just over 2,200 vaccines, which we were hoping would be coming in on Monday, as our previous deliveries had done. We've now heard that those deliveries have been cancelled.
Dr. Van Mallart is waiting to repurpose some of Kingston University campus into a mass vaccination centre.
This is just one small part of a sprawling university campus which has been handed over to Dr. Van Mallart. They can vaccinate thousands of patients here every single day, but only if they get those vaccines in time.
The pressure on the health service has never been greater. GPs are having to plan and administer a mass vaccine rollout at the same time as dealing with soaring COVID-19 infections. Some are close to breaking point.
It's absolutely unprecedented at the moment. Certainly yesterday was one of our busiest days ever. We were sending in patients into hospital, not just the elderly patients, but the patients without pre-existing conditions. We sent some young patients in, which is definitely a new thing. So we're being overwhelmed and we're expecting a tsunami.
Thank you.
The government insists there are no supply issues, and 1.5 million people have already been vaccinated. And the NHS, it says, will roll out doses as quickly as possible to inoculate nearly 14 million people by February. It is a race against time, and it's a race we can't afford to lose. Ashish Joshi, Sky News.
So from the vaccine to 2 new drug treatments available to doctors from today, which could reduce the risk of death and the amount of time a severely ill patient spends in hospital. Results from around 800 patients confirmed that drugs which are normally used to treat rheumatoid arthritis cut the risk of death by 24%. The treatment helps to dampen down the effect of proteins that can cause the immune system to overreact. National Express says it suspended its national network of coach operations due to the COVID-19 travel restrictions. The travel firm's managing director says its road services would be halted until at least March, as it was no longer appropriate to operate while the UK was down under lockdown. 3 teenagers have appeared in court charged with murder and conspiracy to commit grievous bodily harm in connection with the death of a 13-year-old in Reading on Sunday. Ollie Stevens was stabbed to death in the Emma Green area. 2 other people were released on bail with strict conditions until February the 1st. Some people turned out to clap this last night, that is, for the carers and key workers who are keeping the country going during the pandemic. In Scotland's capital city, a piper joined people who braved the cold to join the clap, which brought people together during the first wave of the pandemic during the spring. The revived Clap for Heroes has been brought in to celebrate the contribution of all key workers, as well as parents homeschooling their children, although fewer people appeared to take part this time round. You're watching Sky News. Coming up, the coronavirus crisis continues to bite deep as a significant outbreak forces a Premier League club to close its training ground. Welcome back. Time now for the latest sports. Here's Julian.
It is FA Cup third round weekend when the big clubs enter the competition, but COVID-19 looks like causing considerable disruption. The tie of the round between Aston Villa and Liverpool is in doubt after a significant coronavirus outbreak at the Midlands club. Villa had closed their training grounds after a large number of first-team players and staff have tested positive. Those results were returned after testing on FA to try to ensure Friday's match goes ahead. A final decision will be made on the day of the game, pending the results of additional testing. Burnley are feeling the effects of the pandemic too. Their manager Sean Dyche revealed the club has recorded a couple of positive cases. They're due to play MK Dons in the FA Cup on Saturday. Dyche feels footballers should be vaccinated in order to redistribute the money spent on testing players back to the NHS.
The amount of money being spent on testing in the Premier League, I can't speak for the other divisions, if that money was therefore channeled back into the NHS and into the vaccination system, surely that's a better place to be than it is just continuing testing a load of footballers 2, 3, 4 times a week.
Shrewsbury's FA Cup tie at Southampton on Saturday has been called off after a number of positive test results at the League One side. It could mean a financial hit for the club, but their chief executive says health must come first.
It's one of these things that I think it's just so transmissible, this new strain, and it's just ripped right through our full training ground. And it's a very difficult situation to deal with, because the last thing any of us want just now is games being off, and especially when it's the FA Cup and it's, you know, the money involved in it. But I think sometimes you've got to look after your players and staff first and foremost, and we also have to be considerate of Southampton and their players and staff at the same time.
England all-rounder Moeen Ali is continuing to suffer from mild coronavirus symptoms after testing positive on Monday. Moeen is suffering from fatigue and muscle aches and is isolating at the England team hotel in Sri Lanka. Chris Wokes is also having to isolate, but the remaining members of the squad have trained in Hambantota ahead of the first test against Sri Lanka, which begins next Thursday. Johnny Bairstow's back in the squad for this series and says the players are trying their best to keep Moeen's morale up.
He's got a lot of support with the whole group as Mo, and yeah, as far as everyone's aware, he's doing well. We've got WhatsApp and everything like that, so staying in touch through those means of the technology where we have readily available to us these days.
The FA has criticised Manchester United for not providing Edinson Cavani with cultural and media training before he joined the club, after the striker was charged for a social media post. The Uruguayan was banned for 3 games and fined £100,000 by the FA after sharing an Instagram story from a fan which included a racially offensive term. The post was later deleted and Cavani apologised. The player must also complete face-to-face education as part of the punishment. Almost 1 week into the transfer window, Manchester United have completed a new signing. They signed Amad Diallo from Atalanta on a 4.5-year contract in a deal which could be worth up to £37 million. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's United reached an agreement to sign the 18-year-old Ivorian winger on the final day of the summer transfer window, but he has now passed his medical, agreed personal terms and been granted a work permit. There is plenty more transfer news on Sky Sports News. We're back later.
Let's take you straight to America now, because President Donald Trump has been speaking. He posted a video on social media just a few moments ago. Let's have a listen.
I would like to begin by addressing the heinous attack on the United States Capitol. Like all Americans, I am outraged by the violence, lawlessness, and mayhem. I immediately deployed the National Guard and federal law enforcement to secure the building and expel the intruders. America is and must always be a nation of law and order. The demonstrators who infiltrated the Capitol have defiled the seat of American democracy. To those who engaged in the acts of violence and destruction, you do not represent our country. And to those who broke the law, you will pay. We have just been through an intense election and emotions are high, but now tempers must be cooled and calm restored. We must get on with the business of America. My campaign vigorously pursued every legal avenue to contest the election results. My only goal was to ensure the integrity of the vote. In so doing, I was fighting to defend American democracy. I continue to strongly believe that we must reform our election laws to verify the identity and eligibility of all voters and to ensure faith and confidence in all future elections. Now Congress has certified the results. A new administration will be inaugurated on January 20th. My focus now turns to ensuring a smooth, orderly, and seamless transition of power. This moment calls for healing and reconciliation. 2020 has been a challenging time for our people. A menacing pandemic has upended the lives of our citizens, isolated millions in their homes, damaged our economy, and claimed countless lives. Defeating this pandemic and rebuilding the greatest economy on earth will require all of us working together. It will require a renewed emphasis on the civic values of patriotism, faith, charity, community, and family. We must revitalize the sacred bonds of love and loyalty that bind us together as one national family. To the citizens of our country, serving as your president has been the honor of my lifetime. And to all of my wonderful supporters, I know you are disappointed, but I also want you to know that our incredible journey is only just beginning. Thank you, God bless you, and God bless America.
So there you go there, the latest video from President Donald Trump, which was posted on his Twitter feed. And as you heard him saying there, that he's outraged by events of yesterday. One of the key things from it is that he says those who engaged in acts of violence do not represent our country and will pay. And very poignantly, as he did say there, that he's committed to a smooth and orderly transition of power, something that, of course, many people, particularly in America, will be looking to see. Coming up next on Sky News, another look at the morning's papers in our press preview. You're watching Sky News. Our top stories. President-elect Joe Biden's accused the crowd that stormed the US Capitol building in Washington of being domestic terrorists. Donald Trump has now posted a video calling for healing and reconciliation. And he says he's turning his focus to a smooth transition of power. The Prime Minister Boris Johnson has promised that hundreds of thousands of COVID-19 vaccines per day will be available by mid-January. Time now for another look at our press preview. Here's Anna.
Well, hello there, you're watching the press preview then. A first look at what is on the front pages. In the next half hour or so, seeing what's making the headlines. Tonight with the Financial Times Whitehall editor, Sebastian Payne, and the Telegraph's assistant comment editor, Olivia Utley. Great to see you both. Yet another busy day, certainly. Okay? So let's crack on with the front pages. The Metro turning Donald Trump's own words on him, following yesterday's invasion of Congress, declaring lock him up. Same story for the FT.
Control her!
To your right!
Mr. Urquiza.
You wanted to speak with me, Miss Vargas. Let him do it. He can manage. Straighten up, Emiliano. Sit down, I'm listening.
Are you all right?
Sit up straight.
Very good.
First off, I would like to apologize for any misunderstanding we had yesterday. I didn't mean to.
Please, you don't need to apologize.
I'd like to form an alliance with you, something that would benefit both of us.
Keep her moving faster.
How's the search for Amelia going? All of those press conferences of yours. That reward you're offering.
Get to the point, please.
You think Barquette listens to you because you managed to get me fired.